Hey, I could actually sing today. I couldn't sing yesterday.
That happens. That happened to me too a while ago.
Foundation chair.
This heart thing.
Percy Ross was a billionaire who gave money to people who really need it.
Can't hear you, Barbara.
Speak right into the mic. Percy Ross was a billionaire who gave money to people who really needed it. Years ago, he had a weekly newspaper column where he'd either grant or deny funds to people who wrote in asking for money. He didn't give money to anyone who asked, only to those who were truly needy. He wouldn't pay a mortgage. He wouldn't give money to those that he thought were undeserving. He declined to help a medical student who wanted $70,000. But he did send money to a man who wanted to buy window cleaning safety belt so he could start his own business and support his family. Now, Ross's motto was, "He who gives while he lives knows where it goes." And I've always liked that motto and decided to adopt it myself. Now, I'm no billionaire, of course, although almost anybody who owns a house in Livermore is a millionaire. But we have more money than we need to live the kind of lifestyle that we like. And some time ago, I decided, and my husband did not disagree, that we should give while we live so we know where it goes. And we choose recipients with the same care that Percy Ross did. For example, you're going to like this, Kathy. We give to RI and RI Foundation because I know they spend the money wisely. We give to Shelter Box, which is a sort of a branch of Rotary. All money donated to Shelter Box is used to help those who suffered a disaster of some kind. Even the volunteers who help out, who go with the material and get it distributed, they have to pay their own room and board and travel expenses. So all the money you donate to Shelter Box goes to good. I give to the local Rotarian Foundation because I know they carefully consider the needs of their applicants. I've given to many grant applicants that the committee doesn't give to when I disagree with the committee's decision. We give to the Livermore Police Officers Association because I believe in what they do for the community. We give to our kids and grandkids. One of our daughters is married to a teacher and she can't work due to health problems. And it doesn't make sense that we have more money than we need while they struggle to make ends meet. And they'll get the money when we die anyway. So we give it to them now. Why make them wait? And of course, grandkids love to get a surprise gift from Grandma and Grandpa, although after several years, it's not much of a surprise anymore. But we don't give to everyone. We don't give to the Red Cross. No matter what you donate for, they put all donations into a pot, and they decide who needs what. They have many, many top brass with big salaries. Their priorities are different from ours, so we never give to the Red Cross. We also donate to anyone who solicits by phone or to most mailers and anyone who asks over and over and over again. We do have a will and a family trust in place, and that helps us follow the motto, but choosing our recipients now is more reassuring and it's more fun. So my thought for the day to pass along to you is, he who gives while he lives knows where it goes. Thank you, Barbara.
Help induct our new member today.
So I'm here today to honor my friend Phil Dean. Phil works with us on the Rotary Foundation Committee, and you probably know that the District Rotary Foundation had like a banner year last year, as did your club have a banner year. So we set a new record at the district level, and our unrestricted annual giving was a little over 800,000, and our total giving for the year was like $1.2 million, and that was a new record for our district. And what that did in the zone, so we know we have clubs, and then we have districts, then we have zone, then we have Rotary International. So our district is part of zones 25 and 26, and there are 24 districts, 1,200 Rotary clubs, and 60,000 Rotarians in California, Nevada, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and British Columbia. Did I forget any? Hawaii, okay. And so we were our district was #1 in unrestricted annual giving. And a big part of the reason for that is my friend Phil Dean. He is part of our committee at the district level, and what he has done has raised like 1/3 of all of the money for the district. So before we give him his plaque that I brought up, I also wanted to take a moment just to thank your club, because your club was #1 in the large club category.
Wow.
In the unrestricted giving, you had a little over 47,000. Total giving was a little over 70,000. And I don't know if you know this, but that put your overall giving in the entire time that you've been a club over $1 million. So congratulations to your club. Would you have Phil hold the, if there's a photographer?
Oh, yes,
okay.
well, I want you in it.
Well, we gotta have the president in there too.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take my glasses off.
Very good, and yes, look at the photographer, Phil. Thank you. Beautiful.
So
Congratulations,
Phil is the
Phil.
Paul Harris Society Chair, or he was last year. He's now moved on, and he's going to be the Triple Crown Chair. But because of Phil's activities, 1/3 of all the contributions came through that thing. So our congratulations, and thank you very much.
Phil's going to talk about the Triple Crown a little bit later with Pat McMenamin. It's a very exciting program, and involves getting a crown to wear, which really appeals to me. So now I would like to have Stu and Fraser and Michael Ferrucci and John Hudson come up, and I'm going to have welcome Stu to the club. He's going to become a member of our club, and Russ is excited that he's going to do the honors today.
So I'm going to have you, President, handle the pin part.
Okay.
When I do a new member introduction, I like to ask them to promise to do some things. And so when we get to this, I'll ask him to raise his right hand and, to the best of his ability, promise to do some things. And then after we complete that, I'll turn to you and I'll say, do you promise to do some things? So, Stu Frazier, you've been asked to, been selected by membership in the Rotary Club of Livermore because the Livermore Club sees you as a community leader. Your willingness and ability to support the goals and the objectives of the club and also Rotary International are a welcome asset. As you know, when you join Rotary, you join much more than just a Rotary Club. You're now part of 1.2 million Rotarians and 34,000 Rotary clubs in 200 countries of the world. And because you're joining this club, you will be welcome anywhere in the world. However, membership brings with it certain duties and obligations. So now I will ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Stu Frazier, promise to the best of my ability to adhere to the Constitution and bylaws of this club. I promise to the best of my ability to use my talents and resources for the benefits of this club in carrying out its community and international projects. I, to the best of my ability, promise to bring in new members, and to help the club grow. You can now put your hand down. Now, members, do you promise to the best of your ability to make Stu welcome at your meetings and make sure that he is introduced to the new members and quickly gets on a committee? Say, we will. We will. It gives me great pleasure, Stu, to present you with the emblem of Rotary membership.
Again. And your badge, your red badge, soon to be blue, your beautiful cap, and your marvelous vest. Everybody loves to wear it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Now, by the power invested in me as a past district governor of District 5170, I now pronounce Stu Frazier to be the newest member of the Livermore Rotary Club. Will you please stand up and welcome the newest member?
Thank you very much.
And now you can kiss the bride.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you very much, Russ. That was really terrific. Yes. So, as everybody calm.
A few moments here to introduce our own Goud Memula. There's something here I didn't realize. Goud was born in a remote village in India that only had school up to 3rd grade. He completed high school in a nearby town and completed his BS in mechanical engineering in 1966, and then immediately came to the United States, where he got a master's in science at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, then studied at UC Berkeley and received his PhD in 1975. Goud worked in the aerospace industry, Cessna and Northrop for 4 years, and then for Bechtel for 27 years at different locations, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Saudi Arabia. He retired from Bechtel in 2000 after having served in different roles as chief engineer for plant design, engineering manager, and project manager, and then went on to set up a medical practice for his son-in-law, who's an orthopedic surgeon. They expanded that to 3 clinics and hired 5 more doctors and 4 physician's assistants and a staff of 50, and managed that for 17 years. And now he's fully retired. Along the way, he also served as chairman for the Hindu temple here in Livermore. He's been engaged in many charitable activities in India since 2006, and we'll hear about that stuff from him today. And we have the pleasure of having his wife, Kala, here with him today, and they've been married for 56 years. Thank you.
Come on up, Goud.
Okay.
Stand super close,
Right,
like about
okay.
there.
Okay. Thank you for the nice introduction, and thank you, President Kathy. And she has asked me to give a presentation, and I think all the past presidents know that I take leave of absence a couple times a year, and probably is wondering what I'm doing, goofing off and all that. Yeah, that is true. I don't stay in my village all the time. We do travel. We travel all over India. We haven't been there too many years. I spent 52 years here. I was there only 22 years, so I'm trying to catch up and travel around the world and a lot of that. But today, I just want to breeze through different activities we have done from 2006. And at the end, maybe I'll try to summarize and connect some dots. There are a lot of slides to cover. First, I wanted to say a few words. India. This I picked up from a tourism India, and it's an incredible India, and everything they say is true. You know, but there is also other side of it. When you go to village, you will find different incredible inequality in India. And so I want to say that there is an extreme rich to the extreme poor, and exquisite places to straw huts and luxurious accommodation, but then you have with no water, no sanitation. Highly educated technical people, but you still have a lot of illiterates. And a caste system hierarchy is still prevalent.
They consider me as a low caste even when I go back to India. I'll tell a few of those later. But again, I'm talking about the villages. I don't mean India is all that way. It's a lot of infrastructure, very advanced and all of that, but when I'm mainly talking about villages. There are 70% of the population lives in villages. Over 500 villages with a population of 100 to 5,000. No running water, that is still true in many, many villages. No sanitation. Most of the diseases are due to unsafe water and poor sanitation. Very poor or no infrastructure. These are some of the pictures I personally took, and that's real. Like you see the big, nice building right next to it, what you see there, open gutters and all of that, there, it doesn't even bother. Rich people are just stay that. Oh, I'm looking here, sorry about that. So that's real, and but that's where a lot of the challenges are. We are from that village, one village 100 miles north of Hyderabad, the big city. And I'm going to go through different things that we have done. Like I said, I'm going to come back at the end, try to pull it together. So we established a charitable trust on my parents' name in 2006. And my father was here with me in US. We went back and did that. And we built a 4-story called Lachago Complex, which is my father's name. It's a commercial building, 6,500 square feet floor area. And my wife and I paid for it. And so the first floor is a commercial. The second floor is a residential where we rent. Third floor is fully for a vocational school. Fourth floor is a 2-bedroom apartment we live when we go there. So it provides a rent. $600 sounds too small, but when you convert the ratio of 65 to 1, that is good money, a lot of money. And we donate it to the trust and also provide additional money to make it sustainable. Okay, these are quick pictures. To the left side was my mom and dad, and we started with a 1-story building, and then later on added the 3 stories. That's my father. To the right, my daughter and 3 grandkids and the family. And this is again the inauguration of my father's grandchildren. And the one lower left side or right side, you see that is a 4-story building when it's all finished. So the reason I show this is these are the pictures from the penthouse. The reason I show this thing is to say on the back of the first picture, use all of that land, which you can see here is the green at the bottom right corner. That is a land that my father used to own, about 25 acres. And I'm going to come back to that, which is part of the story. So what we did is we started out with education, sport activities, and we moved on from activity to activity for a couple of reasons. One, either we found after we evaluated not as effective, or there are better programs we can do it. The third one, I hate to say it, it didn't turn out the way I thought it was for some reasons. I'll try to cover that. So we started with the scholarships, and we donated midday vessels, means steel plates and glasses for the government schools, notebooks, and we provided supplies and clothes to orphanage schools. Then we conducted 3-day tournament for 34 villages and provided meals. This is the local sport. I'm sure none of you have seen that. More importantly, we upgraded a playground at an elementary school. These are giving out the scholarships. Give about 1 lakh for 25 students. 1 lakh is about $1,500. Now this is the sport program where they got, the finalists got awards. Now, this is the school, elementary government school. You see the boulders, you see the restroom with no water and all of that stuff. So we transform these into this. Remove all the boulders, put the water tank on top of toilets, and cleaned it up so that it is safe to use. The next, I'll tell you, there are more schools. I stopped doing that after one for the reason I'll explain you. So then we went into health clinic, health and eye camps, and diabetic specialty screening. And there are a lot of people, they're very popular. We continue to do this. Every time we hold, we get 100 to 150 people, mainly elderly and poor. And we provide eyeglasses free to all of them. Any cataracts are done free by Lions Club. We provide transportation to them. And diabetic specialty screening is also very important. So when the screening time and the people have got a 260 and they go and say, oh, that's not bad. They say, what? That's not bad? 260? That's the level of diabetic problems there are. Okay, so these are all the things that are done within our complex. People wait for it. And so the slide there with me, those are the volunteer doctors, 3 of them. And you can see at the bottom, next one, that's how they do screening the eyes. There's not a lot of equipment, but they do it. They go get the glasses and provide them. Now, this is the one that, I guess in April? May, yeah. Last time we were there, about 120 people, we did the screening, both medical as well as, I believe all of them required glasses that will be given them after a couple of weeks. Okay, so that part continues. Then we got into purified drinking water, RO plants. And literally, when we started this, there were no RO plants in all of our district or surroundings. And we introduced it, and the concept was we paid for a private company to install a 500-liter plant. We gave them 50,000 rupees, whatever, the $700, $800, and they will sell to the villagers the 6 cents for a 20-liter water, compared to they would get 40 cents or $1, 60 cents in the market. And that's 60 cents. 44 cents is a lot of money people can afford in rupees, so therefore they don't buy it. Now it is available, they use it. So some of you may remember 2 RO plants were sponsored by Livermore in cooperation with the Nizambad Club and the Livermore District 5170. And on the left, you see the Nizambad Rotary Club. And these are the typically how they look. Depending upon whether we have the plastic tanks or the steel tank, the cost can be varying. And this is how they collect the water. Not fancy. The tap comes out. People come there and collect it, take it home. Okay, so we stopped doing that for 2 reasons. One, it required the cooperation of the villages, and the villages got idea that they'd rather have some private person do it and make more money. They were not willing to give the infrastructure. Well, the real reason I didn't put one in our village may be shocking, but I go up to the Sarpanch, which is the mayor. I said, I'd like to donate this. Can you provide this? then he said, well, what do I get? I
Oh.
said, you're going to get the water for your village. And he said, now what am I going to get? I didn't get it. So my relative explained to me that he wants some money for you to allow to do that. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So I haven't done it. And those are the kind of discouraging things, but you just can't let that get to you and just move on to do something different. So vocational training in our second floor, third floor, we have sewing machines, beautician stations, computers, and we provided free to the women. About 200 of them in tailoring graduated. A lot of them opened their own business, beautician classes, and computers. It was fairly successful, and then National Academy of Construction, they sponsored training for electricians and plumbers, and we hosted that. And what I got away from that one, because disappointed that after about 150 students graduated, they were found jobs in the city, and people didn't want to work there, came home. So I went to the director and said, why am I doing this thing? Okay, if it's really not helping, why am I spending money doing this thing? So I stopped doing that. So there are regulations, there are also the attitude of the people. If it is not effective, I just put away. But vocational school, we are continuing with that. So, all right, so these are all the people who got certification. All right, last one, community projects. Well, when I go spend time there, people will come advise and ask for suggestions. There's so many of them come. You have to be very diligent, and you need to evaluate and only sign up for the thing that makes sense. I have had people come in and say some ridiculous proposals, and then say you can make money from this thing. I say, if I wanted to make money, I stay there, stay in America. Why am I coming here? So I mean, sometimes it's very discouraging, very difficult to think. Just to give an example, wanted to open a school, and the fire protection person comes and said, I can get a certification of fire protection, and it costs you 4 lakhs, for $1,500 times 4, $1,500 times 4. I said, really, you're going to do all that fire protection in that much money? No, we're just going to put it up, take pictures, and show it to them, give you a certificate. I throw him out of the house. I said, I'm an engineer. You're going to put pipes and tanks and take pictures, give me a certificate, and then take it away? I said, no, I'm not starting a school. I can't change them, so I just decided not to do that. So I'm giving these examples more as a challenge. I'm not trying to put it down, but you have to be careful on, like Barbara said, you got to know where your money is going, whether it's going to get worthwhile or not. So that's a challenge. So, we did 3 projects. One of them, the wedding hall, holds about 1,000 people. This is in our village, and the way it was done is, the people approached me and said, can you give us 20 lakhs? We will name it on your parents' name, which is 5 houses away from my original house. I said, fine. So that's how it happened. They did that. And here, the caste system comes into play. How am I doing with time? You're okay. So, right next door, Reddy's have a wedding hall, air conditioned, but 80% of the people cannot afford to use it because they're poor. So, went ahead and did this. They all can use. They all can use, and is very useful to them. And then, all right. Get carried away. So the other 2 are, we build a meditation hall, and also we build a retreat facility, rooms in a temple. And again, the community came and asked, and we just did that last time. All right, we take a breather. So we kind of went one activity to another activity, and we kind of evaluated in 2017. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of work by the local people. I am not there to manage. So we made a decision to lease the building, part of the building, other than bank and penthouse and few things, to a non-profit organization. It's a long name, Sri Saraswati Vidyapeetham. And purpose is they have over 1,000 schools in India. And they focus on quality of education, teaching the values and culture to students at minimum cost. The minimum cost because all their buildings, land is donated by, so that's not the cost. They employ good teachers, a lot of training and all that. I said, well, let me try that in lieu of doing a lot of, not getting young. I don't want to go travel too much. So we started this, and capital for setting this up was about 12,000, like, all the murals, furniture, and playground and all of that. And it costs about 10 to 13,000 per year, and we get some of the fees. So if you get to 150 students, it will be break even. So we're right now at 93. So we figured that would be a good way to succeed. So then we continue to do they agreed to manage the vocational training, which is a less burden for me. We'll continue to do the health clinics and eye and camps. This is something I learned from TJ and others, that I started to giving interest-free loans. And one of the reasons is, this may be hard, if you're successful, you have money, your relatives expect you to give it to them. I said, give them for their marriages, give them money, all that. So I made a rule many years ago. I said, I am not giving money to anybody. I will do things that can help. So I'm willing to pay for the college expenses if you get your grandchildren good standing in a professional school. So rather than giving money, this is what we started. So 6 grandchildren of my sister, and 3 of them already completed. One is in US working, and she started to pay back, so that money can go help others. So I'm hoping that those graduated will pay back and others will get back. And we're also hoping to extend this outside the family. The reason is, it's not easy to identify the true needs. That is the biggest problem. So that's the reason why I didn't jump in and do that. If you say I'm going to give free loans, you got all the people, they say, I need it, but you never know. Okay, so this is the school, building. On the left, on that side, you see the school. This side is the bank. So these are all some of the pictures, activities, and we had to get all the murals and all those done. Now, last year, my daughter's son, Nikash, he went around collecting a lot of these stuffed animals from his friend's family. So we took it there, and
You're good. No. You look
You're good. Okay. So we distributed, and they were all very happy. And I cut down a lot of the pictures because then also we took some of the books and backpacks and all that to orphanage. So my grandson went and distributed them.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. So I breezed through.
Wow, there are questions out there. That was remarkable, and I'm very, very impressed with what you do. So are there a few questions out there? Okay, Alan?
Yeah, good. How are schools normally financed in the villages?
How are they supported?
Uh,
Or are they?
Take the microphone.
School system is a failure. Government schools, the teachers don't even show up all the time. And they have a side businesses and all of that, and it's very, very bad. Then the private schools came into existence several years ago. Their motto is how to make the most money. So between those two of them is very difficult. So, and those who have money, they can go to a reputed school and get something, and there are a lot of them with a lot of money. The issue is in the villages, how do they get? Yeah. So that is a problem. I went to several schools. Some of my friends have donated the facility. It's totally trash. They don't even do anything. So I'm sorry to say that, but the government has a lot of funds. We don't know what happens. There are a lot of issues with that. Okay.
I had a question as far as, you know that I went to India to see the Polio Plus and be involved with that a couple of years ago. One of the places that we went was a village, and one of the Rotary clubs in Delhi sponsored this school in this village. And they had activities, as you were describing, of teaching the children how to sew, to do henna, to do computer work on computers, so that vocational type stuff, so that the kids could then go out. And then when you mentioned that when you did that in your village, after a while it wasn't successful because the kids didn't like going to the city. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, specifically the
Microphone.
Specifically the electrical and plumbing. Yeah, electrical and plumbing, these are training, which I thought would be very useful, creating jobs and all that. After they went to city, they had jobs, they had money, they came home. And they were not motivated to work. They came home, they rather have not worked. So that discouraged me when I saw the statistics, and I didn't want to continue that. Not that it is not a good program.
Wouldn't they run out of
Yeah,
money
I
again
don't want
pretty
you to
quick?
misunderstand. There are a lot of very, very successful programs from Rotary and other foundations. It's a challenge, it's a difficulty of doing it at remote villages, okay? And so the charity is not well understood. They were very suspicious. I'm up to something. Why am I giving away money? Nobody does. Why is he giving away money? So, all right. Okay, so I want to answer in one sentence. I try to, but you asked me what motivates me and why I do this thing. Okay. I think it's a way to show the gratitude to my dad. All the things he has done. So he sold all his land, educated us, and the building that you see is out of all the land we had half acre, less than half acre remaining. But my friend I decided to build as a memory. That's what home is.
Goud, one more way, Goud. Thank you so much, Goud. There were many things that I learned about you today, and some I knew, and I knew some things, but I didn't know all of this, and I'm just so impressed and so proud that you're in our club, and so happy that you're my friend, and that you are an inspiration to me and to everyone here, I'm sure, because that was really a powerful message. And I have one more thing. You have a choice now to celebrate. You have a bottle of wine.
Ask my wife.
Oh, Calla, which would you like? Wine or olive oil? Olive oil. Thank you again, Goud. Very happy.